All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about how to approach tiered vocabulary. You've already experienced the self-rating scale, rating your knowledge of each word on a scale of 1 to 4. 1 being you have no idea what it means, all the way up to 4, which is you're so confident in your knowledge you could probably teach it to other people. But what I want to talk about now is tiered vocabulary. So what that means is each student is going to approach the vocabulary differently, and each student will have a different learning experience based on what you already know or based on what kind of challenge you might need. So if you read the instructions up here, it says start with the need to know words. Now, what we want to notice is this first section. These are anchor words or need to know words. So everyone is going to do the need to know words. You then rate your knowledge, just like you have in the past, on that scale of 1 to 4. You perform the corresponding task in the right-hand column. It's here. And what will happen is if you are 50% or more 1s and 2s, meaning, right, that you don't know most of the words, right? You stay on the anchor words. You do not have to proceed on to the next sections, which if you look, holy Toledo, Miss Rosine, that's a lot of words, right? So if you go through and you find you're at a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, right? Let's pretend that those are your ratings. I would look through and say, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words total. If 4 or more are rated at a 1 or a 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, guess what? I only have to do this section, the anchor words or the need to know words. Now, some of us might have pretty impressive vocabularies. So perhaps we go through the rating and we say, yep, I know what swanky means. I'm familiar with facades. I know what a bed and breakfast is. I know the word compelling. I have no idea what the word dotty means. I think I know what earnestly means. And I feel pretty confident about the word emanate. Well, if that's the case, I can count and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my words are 4s or 3s, 3s or 4s. So what that means is I'm still going to, by the way, do the tasks here in this column. But I'm going to move on to the next tier, right? These are slightly more challenging. So perhaps I rate myself, well, gee, I'm not sure what a hearth is. I definitely know what a dachshund is. I have no idea what congenial means, or rapacious, or dithering, right? So here, 50% or more of the words are rated at a 1 or a 2. So I get to stop at this section, I should say. I don't stop completely. I still perform the tasks in that right-hand column, but I don't have to go on to this final section. On the off chance that some of you might even know these words really well, let's say you rate yourself at a 3, except for rapacious. I can't imagine any 13-year-old knows the word rapacious. But let's say you're pretty confident, right? You go through, you complete the tasks, and then you'd move on to the third and final tier, the fun to know words. So if you look at the way the sections are titled, there's need to know, good to know, and fun to know. And fun to know words typically are words that are very rare. You might not see them anywhere except the next story that we're going to read. They might not be dictionary words. You might have to Google them. So chances are, I'm going to go out on a limb and say most of us would be ones, except for maybe some people might be familiar with hot water bottles. I can't imagine anyone knows who Dempsey and Tunney are, and probably very few of you know about Eaton, right? So you would go ahead and do the tasks in the last column. So just to reiterate, if your knowledge and understanding in the first section, the need to know words, if your knowledge and understanding are 50% or more at 1s and 2s, right, then this is where you get to stay. You get to do your work here and you don't need to move on, because what that means is you are sufficiently challenged by the words in the first tier. And I think a lot of us will find ourselves in that situation, by the way. If, however, you're 50% or more at 3s and 4s, that means you need to move to the next section to find, I'm just erasing things so it's a little cleaner. Then you're going to need to move to this next section to find your challenge. And if, on the off chance, you still are not sufficiently challenged by tier 2, the good to know words, then you get to move on and play around with this final section, because that's where you're going to find challenge. I pretty much guarantee you nobody knows these terms. They're pretty unusual. Okay. Hopefully that will help you understand how to approach tiered vocabulary. This is not the last time you will see it. And before I sign off, so that was how to approach, right? But one thing I want you guys to note, I'm going to use a different color highlighter here, is this little note in the middle. Note, a context sentence is a sentence that implies the meaning of the word, right? So if you're a 3 or a 4, you're doing context sentences in the task section, right? So you want to make sure that you include enough context in those sentences that the meaning becomes clear. So the example, the non-example I should say, is the house was swanky. There's nothing in that to indicate the meaning of the word swanky. However, the second sentence, the swanky house was filled with expensive velvet furniture and crystal chandeliers. Now all of a sudden we start to have a sense of what the word swanky means because of the context added in the sentence. So that is the expectation when you rate yourself at a 3 or a 4 in any of the words. All right, I think that is enough of me talking. See y'all soon.